You're listening to the Shaun of the South podcast, brought to you by Food City, dedicated to providing you, their valued customer, with top quality products at the best value every day. From certified Angus beef to locally grown produce and in-store made baked goods, nobody does food like Food City. Find a store conveniently located near you at foodcity.com. I am excited to talk to you today about something that will sound completely insane, which is not hard to believe because most of the time when I open my mouth, it does sound completely insane because I'm probably not a very sane person. But on Easter week, my wife and I will be in Spain, España. We will be starting at the south of France and we will be walking El Camino de Santiago, which is one of the world's oldest pilgrimage routes, second only, I believe, to the route to Rome and the route to Israel. So this is huge. This thing has been around since the Middle Ages, and frankly, I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't know a whole lot about it. But I know that this year I'm looking for a major spiritual kick in the pants. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about spiritually. There's something that I need that I'm not real sure what it is. I'm not sure if it's the age that I'm at now where I'm having a moderate midlife crisis, or maybe it's that I just feel sort of burned out with our technological world. I have been plugging away at this column and podcast and doing live shows and writing books and nonfiction books and magazine articles for 10 years. And I'm a little burnt, and I'm also wondering what it's all about. What am I all about? Who am I? So these are questions that mankind has been struggling with for a long time. And a long time ago, if a guy, let's say, in Scotland was struggling with these questions, his faith, let's say in the Middle Ages, would have encouraged him to take a pilgrimage, to walk towards something that matters and live a simple life for however long it took to get there, to walk from his front door all the way to a site that would mean something to him. And people did this all throughout history. They walked right out of their door, and they walked using the muscles in their legs and their calves and their feet and their buttocks. Yes, their buttocks. And these people would walk long distances until they met with a region or location that would help realign the things they believe and the things that they thought they knew. And it wasn't the religious site, it was the journey of getting there that was the most enlightening. This is something that we have lost in today's culture. We don't do these sorts of things. Even the amount of people who hike the Appalachian Trail is diminishing every year just a little bit, at least in the last few years. But when was the last time you saw someone leave their door and walk all the way to, New York City or, Austin, Texas or California? This person would have to be crazy in American culture. We don't do that. And on a side note, you can't do that. If you were to leave your house right now and try to walk to, let's just say, Wichita, Kansas, you would be met with a series of roadways that do not accommodate walking or foot traffic. We don't want people to walk in the United States. I don't know why, but anybody who's ever done any amount of hiking and come off the trail and tried to just go to Kmart or Walmart and stock up on supplies knows that you are taking your life in your own buttocks into your hands, because traffic will mow you down. You can't cross 6 lanes of interstate highway just to go to Walmart. You have to get a car. You have to be in a car to exist in America, it seems like. And so we don't take pilgrimages. We don't walk on foot to go find anything. We don't live that simply. Well, I would like to do that. And I realize I join a mass of millions of people who have already done this. They've already gone to El Camino de Santiago, or they've walked the Appalachian Trail or the Pacific Crest Trail. Either way, I have never done this with the intent of learning something about myself and learning something. I'm not religious. I was raised fundamentalist Baptist, and we were the kind of people who we did not believe in buying life insurance because it was considered a form of gambling. We were tight people, and but that's very different from true spirituality, from true communing with the great artist of the universe, if you ask me. But I'm not here to talk about religion. I'm here to be excited because ever since I wrote an article about hiking the El Camino de Santiago, I have been flooded with messages and emails from people who have been so kind to share their experiences with me. And the first thing that I figured out after writing that article and getting those emails, I realized that I had no idea how many people had walked this trail. I had no idea how many friends El Camino de Santiago already has. It's staggering. I feel as though I'm the last person on the planet to know about this. But now, like I said earlier, I don't know much about the trail. And that is by design. That's on purpose. Because the first thing that happens when I plan something, or I see this particularly in my wife, who's a type A. I'm not a type A. There's two kinds of people in the world. There's type A and there's type me. I'll show up late to my own funeral and not know why I'm there. When you undertake something really big and really important, it's a tendency to just read as much as you can and learn as much as you can and prepare as much as you can. And then the day comes and you've got all these huge expectations in your mind of how wonderful it's going to be, or how bad it's going to be, or how intense it's going to be, and so on and so forth, etc. And then you get there and nothing can ever measure up to what your mind has in store. So on purpose, I have not read a single book, not a single article. I haven't read anything or learned anything about El Camino de Santiago. I'm grateful that I learned Spanish when I was a kid, working on construction job sites, but mostly I only learned the cuss words. So we're in good shape if anybody wants to know how to reference a part of their anatomy while we're on the trail in slang Spanish. But I haven't read anything about it. I don't know anything about it because I am going to go and just have open hands and accept whatever the Camino presents to me. We've booked a few hostels, and that's it. That's all. I've got good shoes. I understand I'm going to get a lot wrong. I'm going to get there and have the wrong shoes and the wrong jacket and the wrong backpack and all that. And I'm just going to have to figure it out as I go because I need a readjustment. I love my fellow man, but he's angry lately. And it's so hard to watch people tear each other apart online. This, in many ways, to me, this current era we're in feels a lot like the pandemic felt. It's very inflamed. I also need an adjustment for myself. I want to finish out my life in a way that is full of love and compassion and kindness. I want people around me who I love, and I want to value those people more than I value my career. And without carrying this train wreck on any further, I will read the article that I wrote about El Camino de Santiago. And the article is entitled, El Camino de Crazio. I've never seen London, and I've never seen France. Consequently, I've never seen anyone's underpants. But in a few months, my wife Jamie and I will fly into France, wearing underpants, to do something that is completely nuts. And this is primarily because my wife and I are bat excrement insane. You see, in a couple months, we will be deposited in a French airport with nothing but backpacks and walking shoes. Thereupon, we will traverse 500 miles on foot, hiking the breadth of Spain from Saint-Jean-Pied-du-Port to Santiago de Compostela. That was bad pronunciation. Probably because these are places I have never even heard of. Places I certainly can't pronounce, let alone envision. So, what I do know about the trail is that this 500-mile route was established in the 9th century, and it is one of the oldest religious pilgrimages in history. In fact, the route is called the pilgrimage, or El Camino, or middle-aged people doing something stupid. And a pilgrimage is very, very necessary right now. As I understand it, the Camino is basically just a really long trail hiked by people who are trying to find something. One of the experts that I interviewed for this article said a lot of people on the trail are trying to find themselves, but after the first few days, most hikers are just trying to find clean toilets and decent insoles. Well, Jamie and I have been training for the past several months for the trail. We've been going on walks wherein we hike a few miles, and each time we return, we give each other looks of mock terror because we know that we will be walking 5 times this distance every day for a month and a half. This will be, most notable, the biggest thing I've ever done, the biggest thing either of us has ever tackled, with the exception of having a new septic tank installed. And so here I am, thinking about the Camino while I talk to you. I've said it before recently. I'm the same age my father was when he died, and it makes this a pivotal year for me. I never expected to live this long, and frankly, I'm surprised I'm still here. Life has always seemed so short to me, but as of now, at this age, life seems like it's going faster, and I simply can't help but think how much I've changed in the last decades. For crying out loud, I'm not even the same person I used to be. In my teens, I didn't understand life. At this age, I still don't understand it, but now I'm finally able to admit it. When I was in my 20s, for example, I cared deeply what other people thought about me. In my 30s, I quit caring what anybody thought, but now I realized they weren't thinking about me at all. Another big lesson I've learned recently is that life is too short to deal with toxic people. I used to try very hard to please people who treated me like roadkill, but now I realize life is too brief to deal with other people's insecurities. I have plenty of insecurities of my own. So I'm not exactly sure why I'm sharing all this with you, except to ask for your well wishes and perhaps your advice, because as I say, my wife and I are completely insane. Well, thanks for listening to Sean of the South. I've been your host today, Sean Dietrich, and it has been a true privilege. To find out anything more about what I do, you can visit SeanDietrich.com, or for those who are not particularly good spellers, you can visit SeanOfTheSouth.com, and there you can find out all sorts of information that you didn't know you didn't need to know about me. And while you're there, I hope you take the time to drop me a line. Tell me what's important to you. Tell me what's going on in your life. I'd like to hear it. And in case anyone hadn't told you today already, I love you. Now go say that to somebody else. Have a great day.